and I am the marketing manager here at Starwood. So I help oversee all of our various marketing activities, including the implementation of the Q&A that you're listening in on today. Also on the call, we have Rosemary Can and Molly Place, both pet travel coordinators at Starwood. They've been with the company for several years, over half of a decade, and they've helped facilitate pet moves all around the world with a particular focus for Australia. So we're really excited for them to be on the call with us today. And before we dive into today's live Q&A portion of the call, I wanted to share that we will be giving away some fun goodies today, including a branded Starwood Pet Travel pet bandana, as well as a $20 Amazon gift card or $200 off your pet move. To enter this, all you have to do is simply ask a question in the chat, follow Starwood Pet Travel on any of our social media platforms, and we will actually be announcing the winners live in real time at the end of today's event. So make sure you stay tuned for those giveaway announcements. Also, before we dive into our live Q&A portion, we wanted to go through the typical timeline it takes to move a pet from Australia. So it is a very long process. Most clients, it takes 8 to 9 months, which can be kind of jarring for a lot of people just starting to get familiarized with this process. It's definitely not a quick process by any means. So I'm going to pass it to Rosie and Molly to kind of talk through each of these individual steps.
Thanks, Georgiana. I'll kick things off with the microchip identification process. For this, you're definitely going to want to make sure your pet is obviously already microchipped. I also strongly recommend making sure that you have either your current or newest rabies certificate handy, just to ensure that all the information listed is correct. So your vets that you're going to partner with moving forward can match that information. For this microchip identification process, you'll need to work with not one, but 2 USDA accredited vets at 2 separate locations, meaning 2 separate physical addresses or practices. At the appointments 1 and 2, each vet will perform a microchip scan, take some photos of your pet with the microchip scanner showing, and then list out all of your pet's details, including date of birth, color, markings, microchip number, and each vet will submit that paperwork and photos to the USDA for processing. Once those come back as approved, you will complete step 3, where one of those 2 vets will resubmit both of the approved forms together. This process needs to be completed within 3 months, but you could do the first couple scans within the same day if you wanted to. Molly, would you like to talk about the rabies titer test?
Thanks, Rosie. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here. It is important to note that after the microchip scans, if you do not yet have a rabies vaccination, a current rabies vaccination, we want to make sure that is done before the rabies titer test. The titer test needs to be done. It's a blood draw that is going to be done by a USDA certified vet. That is required. And once the lab receives the rabies titer test, it's going to be about 180 days for the earliest eligible departure date for your pet. We do recommend waiting until that third and final step of the microchip identity scans is received and endorsed before you do the rabies titer test. Rosie, back to you.
Once the titer test has been completed, our team will take care of the RNAT declaration, which is a form that the USDA looks at to ensure that the titer test has been performed by a USDA accredited vet. They'll also take a look at the rabies vaccination certificate to ensure that all the details match. And that process usually takes about a week or 2 But that processing time can vary depending on how busy the USDA is. Molly, you want to talk about the import permit?
The permit, so once we receive the endorsed RNAT declaration, we cannot request the permit without the RNAT declaration being endorsed. So our team will step in and request that from the government. And then the import permits can take anywhere from a few days to 4 weeks or more. It just depends on the government processing times. Summers can tend to be a little bit longer, but so far we're seeing some really good processing times right now. Rosie?
Kind of similarly with quarantine booking, we need to have the import permit back and approved first. Then, most often, Australia quarantine is able to accept for the dates that we request. A few times of year, like around Christmas holidays or the winter holidays and in the summer, those processing times can take a little bit longer, and there is a slightly higher chance that the date we request might not be approved. So if that does occur, then we'll offer you the next available space, or there would be an option to go on a cancellation list so that you might get an earlier date should a space open up. That processing time currently is looking like a couple weeks, but sort of like with the import permit, those processing times can vary as well. Molly, you want to talk about flights?
Once we have the quarantine booking, at that time, we'll touch base with you to kind of finalize some more details. So from the time we receive quarantine booking to the time flights can be requested, there can be a little bit of time in there. So just know if your details are not finalized earlier in the process, that's okay. We can touch base, we can amend, we can change things a little bit further down the road. The flights can be requested between 3 and 4 weeks before departure. They cannot be requested earlier. Right now we are working with 2 airlines, Qantas, which is 21 days prior to departure, and Qatar has currently changed their process timing, their booking window to 10 days prior to departure. That's just while they're keeping an eye on everything. We do expect that to probably go back to the 21 days prior to departure a little bit further down the road.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing that. I'm actually just getting word that we're having a live stream issue with Facebook and Instagram, so we're going to take a really short pause to address that, and we will be right back. Thank you for being patient.